What's up everybody and welcome to the channel. In today's video we're going to take a look at this 2022 Ford Mustang. Big shout out and thank you to Randy Marion Ford for providing this car for today's video. Take a look at their website linked below. So this one has the high performance package finished off in the really nice grabber blue. At the end of the video we'll unveil the MSRP to see if this 4-cylinder Mustang is worth the price. Underneath the hood of the 2022 Ford Mustang, you're going to find a 2.3 liter inline turbocharged EcoBoost motor pumping out 330 horsepower with 350 pound-feet of torque. It's paired to either a 6-speed manual or the 10-speed automatic, setting the power to the rear wheels. This particular spec has a 3.55 limited slip differential, and with a curb weight around 3,600 pounds, you're looking at 0 to 60 in 5 seconds, quarter mile time at 13.6 seconds, and a top speed at 155 miles per hour. And running on a 15.5 gallon fuel tank, you're looking at 20 miles per gallon in the city with 27 out on the highway. Overall length is 188.5 inches with a wheelbase at 107.1. Width is 75.4 and height is 54.3 inches. The performance package is also going to feature these 19-inch wheels, Brembo brakes up front, along with magnetic suspension all around. You get the raised blade deck lid spoiler, along with an active quad exhaust system. And then now moving on to the exterior styling of the outgoing Mustang EcoBoost. This has a very sharp design all around, especially in grabber blue. It's a fantastic color. But you can see these LED headlights, they have a blacked out housing, then a lot of really sharp angles throughout the grille surround. I love the performance package, giving it this really cool retro style grille with all these horizontal slats. You can see the pony logo on the side with the American flag colors through the stripe, and then gloss black around the surround. Down below that we have more gloss black in the lower grille to allow more airflow into the engine and intercoolers, and then you can also see a massive black front splitter to really cut through that air. You can see the lights on the far sides, along with some trim on the farthest side to give it a nice muscular appearance, and I really think the front end comes together nicely. It's a very familiar looking sports car. Up on the hood you're going to see some really sharp lines going towards the windshield and these nice heat extraction vents in the front with more sharp lines all around them. Great looking front end with that massive hood to give it that muscle car appearance. On the side you can see the 19-inch wheels finished in a split spoke design with metallic gray, and then you get black and red for the Brembo brake caliper. Wrapped in a Pirelli tire, you can see a sharp line around the wheel arch, and I love the 2.3 liter high performance badge on the back. You can see a really sharp line going through the door on the top and bottom, and then a matching side skirt to that front splitter. We get a set of body colored door handles and body colored mirror caps with an integrated turn signal on the side. Then you can also see all black surrounding the windows, then a body colored roof with a shark fin antenna, and then more sharp lines to match the hood. Taking a look at the side profile now, this has that fastback design, really good retro look, and it really does just look like a Mustang. Has all this traditional lines you're going to expect from any classic muscle car, and great proportions front and rear. You can see a really sharp line going above the rear tire to give it that wider appearance in back, and I love how the glass just goes right into the trunk. Spoiler looks nice and clean on it. Then you can see how everything comes together towards the rear. We get more of that traditional 3-bar taillight design, and they are 3-dimensional, and of course have the sequential turn signal. All gloss black through the center with your backup camera up top as well as the Mustang logo, and then more sharp lines all throughout the rear bumper with parking sensors. Down below that you're going to see the integrated reverse light to this diffuser, really aggressive design with some of the fins, and then that quad tipped exhaust with some more black trim. I think the rear end really comes together and it all blends nicely to make a Mustang look fantastic. So there's a good look at the exterior with the EcoBoost Mustang equipped with that $6,000 performance package. We now have Ford's key, you get the pony logo on one side, all of your typical buttons, trunk release button as well. We do get remote start, so if I go ahead and double tap, wow, not too bad at all. That active exhaust. That'll be interesting to rev it up and see what it's like after we take it for a spin. But with the key fob in my pocket, I can just grab the door handle, it automatically unlocks, and we can check out this interior. This is an EcoBoost Premium, so you're going to see the black leather interior along with aluminum accents and a digital gauge cluster. If you take a look at the door panel now finished off in black, You can see some contrast stitching along the side with perforated leather, some good padding for your armrest, as well as a release handle, all of your window controls and mirror controls, lock and unlock with memory seating, and a very nice grab handle. Then you can see 2 speaker grills and a little bit of storage. We get Mustang down on this aluminum door sill. Then you can see all of your power controls on the side of the seat along with manual recline. You can see smooth leather with more of the contrast stitching on the bolsters and a very nice perforated design in the center with a pretty cool pattern. You can see the bolsters coming up the sides and the backs, all the way up towards more stitching on the headrest. And then spinning around, we get a black leather steering wheel with some aluminum accents. And then now inside the Mustang, keeping my foot on the brake, we can go ahead and fire it up. If we take a look at that digital gauge cluster now, you can see the analog tach over on the left along with your speedometer to the right side. Get a few vitals in the lower portion as well as the center screen. The center screen you can configure using some of the buttons. Right now you can see some trip information, fuel economy, tire pressure, a blank screen, and then back to the trip. You can also tap the Pony logo right here and it comes up with all sorts of different settings. You can go under My Mode and adjust that. We have all of your exhaust modes that you can adjust manually, or of course just use the different drive modes to automatically change. We have brake performance, line lock as well, acceleration timer, and a few more performance settings. You can show different gauges and configurations, different color. And then if you use the toggles down below, this far one is your drive mode. So if I go into the different modes, in the sport mode, I can already hear the exhaust open up a little bit, get a pretty cool tach. And then going into the track mode, it gets a very cool performance focused one with a massive tach all throughout the top. You also have a few more drive modes for drag strip and then wet. And then down below that, we have your steering wheel mode as well, and you can have different ones that will pop up all throughout the screen. On the left side of the steering wheel, we have some Bluetooth and audio controls along with all the cruise control settings, then a few more of those controls on the right side. The automatic is going to give you these steering wheel mounted paddle shifters that have a pretty decent look and feel to them. Then you have the stalk on the left for your turn signals, and then of course windshield wipers over on the right side. To the left of the steering wheel, we have your trunk release button along with some storage space that will pop outwards, then a cool metal design along the plastic trim and all those headlight controls. We have the traditional double bubble design for the dashboard, which is very iconic, sadly gone for the 2024 Mustang. But then right in the center, you can see the oil pressure gauge along with your turbo boost gauge and then 2 air vents. Down below, we have the Sync 3 system. All of your climate controls will come up. Very easy, you can adjust everything. You have heated seats as well as a heated steering wheel, audio controls on the far left, phone integration, and then your full navigation screen will come up in the center with all the different controls. And then we have apps as well. Then going under settings, pretty basic, what you would expect in this car. Then if I go ahead and put it into reverse, we get a backup camera that will pop up with all of your guidelines. Parking sensors can come up right in the center. And then just putting it back into park. Underneath all of that, we have your volume on the far left, power button, and a few more radio controls. And then you even get physical climate controls down below. Heated and ventilated seating, fan speed right in the center. Any adjustments made actually pop up on the screen as well, which is a pretty cool touch to see everything working. Then you have those toggles down below. You get traction control along with your hazards, engine start stop button, a little bit of storage with USB and a 12 volt. And then some of this aluminum color all around the shifter with the leather shift boot. And you even get the manual parking brake. And then 2 cup holders on the far right side and a small armrest with more of this leather material and stitching. You have a pretty good amount of storage space in here along with the USB and 12 volt. Then you can press this button, open up the glove box, and it's what you would expect. You also get that high performance badge on the far right with the chassis number, which is a nice little touch. And then one last look at the interior. Typical as what you would expect for the S550 Mustang Premium, so definitely a nice place to be. Up top we get your 2 dome lights as well as a frameless mirror and garage door opener. The Mustang Coupe has 2 back seats. You just grab the handle on the back side of this front seat to get it out of the way. Then you can see both of them. They have pretty large bolsters, very cool bucket design with the same leather as well as all that stitching. And then climbing into the back seat of the Mustang, the seat itself is actually really comfortable and very nice. However, the lack of headroom is what's gonna get you. 5'11" sitting back here. With the driver's seat set at my height, it is doable. I mean, you can genuinely, honestly fit two of me back here. It wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. However, your headroom really is gonna be what's compromised back here. But at least in a pinch, you can fit 4 people in a Mustang, go somewhere maybe 30 minutes away, and it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. And luckily we have a handle back here I can grab and easily climb my way out. And then from here, you can use the button on the key fob, the one on the interior, or there is one underneath the logo you can press and pop the whole trunk lid. This does give you a pretty large trunk, as you can see. Really can use this as a daily and even travel with it. A lot of storage space. With the back seats folded down, you even get a large pass-through into the interior to really maximize the usability. They fold down nearly flat, and it really makes this car extremely practical for only having 2 doors. All right, guys, so we are setting off now. I will say the 10-speed, there are so many gears, especially when you're in manual mode. You gotta shift quite a bit, but in this car, you know, you have plenty of power. It gets up to speed pretty well. We are in the track mode manual, just kind of playing with the car, seeing what it can do. In this mode, the steering is pretty tight and the suspension is nice and firm as well. Actually feels pretty pinpointy and composed at the lower speeds. And then going over some train tracks in this mode, these are pretty bumpy. Actually not that bad, pretty nice and smooth. And then now in automatic, kind of just the basic drive modes for this car. I will say that the transmission isn't my favorite. I would definitely go with the manual transmission. I feel like the automatic is just a little jerky around slow speeds and sometimes. But normal driving, you know, it's pretty nice and comfortable. Visibility is pretty good too when you just drive this like a normal car. You have a really large windshield, you can easily see around. And all the glasses, a great job letting me know what's going on. Mirrors do a good job. Over your right and left shoulders, pretty good as well. And then let's tone it back into track mode. A nice sweeper turn, feeling out the suspension once again. It is definitely a big step up from the normal EcoBoost without this suspension. Like sharp turns, not that bad. We drove a normal one in the mountains and it was awful. This would definitely have been a heck of a lot better. I mean, it packs a punch. The extra horsepower you get with this performance package is definitely a nice thing to have. All right, so flipping to my perspective, honest thoughts of driving this. It is peppy. It's got a pretty good amount of power, and the suspension is a huge step up. Going 50 miles an hour around these sweeper turns, you can tell the car is way more tight than the standard car. It's not that bad. It still has some weight to it. It's still not like a true sports car. Like I said, a 4-cylinder Supra, way better in the mountains, just a better, tighter car. But when you look at the practicality aspects, the fact that you have the back seats, you have the trunk and stuff, you know, it kind of can forgive the fact that it's not a pinpointy sports car. However, it's a pretty good, well-rounded, sporty car, I would say. And I think this package, while it's a $6,000 option, a lot of money for that, of course, it really does make this car a heck of a lot better. And I think it does tighten up the car. Now, the 10-speed automatic isn't my favorite just because the shifting isn't as smooth as I would like. I think a ZF 8-speed is a way better option, but you still get pretty quick shifts. You know, you can easily get into traffic. It's just you have to shift so many times. If we do tone the car down though, going into sport mode, normal mode, like slowing down, it just a little jerky. That's just not my favorite. Letting the car shift, I mean, it's very healthy powered. And then getting back up to speed in normal mode and automatic. The fact that you do have all the drive modes, it does make the car go from a soft, comfortable GT car to a much more sporty version of the same car. So that's a really good aspect with the car. And then as far as the interior fit and finish, while this is the outgoing car, I think the Premium is still a pretty nice option. You get the leather, the cool looking interior, which kind of gives you a more premium aspect to the car. The base model car with cloth, to me, feels very cheap. But once you get the Premium car, I think it opens it up enough and makes it feel luxurious enough. And it kind of gives you the rest of the things that you'd be missing in a base model, to where now the interior is nice and it makes it to where it's a nice place to be overall. So with all of that said, this high performance package Mustang EcoBoost is $47,000. Now, do I think it is worth 47 grand? Honestly, no. I could not for the life of me spend that much money on a 4-cylinder Mustang. If it was this price point and it had a V8 manual transmission and all the same options, I think that would be a heck of a good price point. But for this money, you're talking about a BMW M240i rear-wheel drive, which is only like a grand or two more. That car gets you the inline 6-cylinder B58 motor, way faster than this, same practicality with back seats and a nice trunk. I mean, I would go for the BMW all day. If you wanted it even more pinpointy, 4-cylinder Toyota Supra, great way to go. So for me, I think that's just a heck of a lot of money for the 4-cylinder Mustang. I don't think I can get on board with it. Take the 6 grand off for that performance package, but give you all those performance package options. 40 grand, I think that'd be a pretty reasonable price point. But to me, I don't know, it just seems like an awful lot when the M240 exists. Unfortunately, that's my conclusion. I think it's a pretty expensive 4-cylinder Mustang. Comment below, what do you guys think? Would you buy it for this price point? Overall, it's a nice car, it really is. Gives you a lot of options, a lot of great features, but for the same money, an M240i is what I would be taking home. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Love to hear your comments down below. Big shout out and thank you again to Randy Marion Ford for providing this Mustang for today's video. Check out the link to their website linked below. They do have a ton of brand new cars in stock and ready to go. I'll see you guys in the next video.